All right. Teddy Atlas says it is a tragedy. I don't think he said travesty or tragedy. A travesty. What's happened to Dillian Whyte and him waiting 600 days as the mandatory to get his fight with Deontay Wilder. The only problem is none of that is true. We're going to talk about that in this video. All right. Teddy Atlas is a moron. I don't know what caused that scar on his head, but clearly whatever caused that scar on his head, which wasn't caused in a boxing match, I don't believe, did some serious brain damage to this dude. This is the same guy that stood up there right in the face of Terrence Crawford and Andre Ward and told them that a guy with a record of 11-1 was the number one pound for pound fighter over them. Now, on his show, which I have to believe is being sponsored by some promoter, getting back office money, backdoor money from somebody for the foolishness this dude says, claims that Dillian Whyte is being mistreated by the WBC. Now, first of all, I watched a video. Shout out to the subscriber that sent that to me. Before I get into that though, I want to welcome you back to the channel, subscribers. Also, I want to say thank you to the Patreons that support me on the Patreon page. We are definitely doing a lot of daily content on there over business topics, politics, political topics within the Black community. Please subscribe to the Patreon. I think that you'll really enjoy it. There's a lot of valuable information over there. Also, thank you to everybody that supports the channel on the super chats and the live streams, and everybody that comes through the live streams for the daily boxing talk that we do. It is a lot of fun. It really makes the channel click. Now, back to this Teddy Atlas guy. Teddy Atlas, Mr. Lomachenko's the number one pound for pound guy in the world, despite a guy talking to a guy that unified the 140 pound division completely and undefeated in 30 plus fights. Andre Ward, an Olympic gold medalist, somebody that who has not lost a fight since he was 12 years old, moved up in weight class, beat a top 10 pound for pound fighter in Sergey Kovalev, wound up knocking him out, won the Super Six, one of those things where you can't pick who you fight, that guy. Anyway, now Teddy Atlas wants to throw his 2 cents on this Dillian Whyte stuff. Oh no, and I could go on for days about Teddy Atlas. It's crying and screaming robbery over Pacquiao. It's robbery. It's a robbery. It's a tragedy. It's the worst thing that ever happened in the world. Oh my God, how could you? Get out of here, Teddy. Get out of here, Teddy. I didn't hear you kicking and screaming. When Oscar De La Hoya got that gift over Pernell Whitaker, man. His just selective outrage just kills me, man. Anyway, so he talks, whoever this host is, starts off with something that is flat out not true. That Dillian Whyte has been the mandatory for 600 days. What do you think about it? So it's a travesty, or tragedy. I always meld those two words, tragedy, travesty, and say travesty. Anyway, it is a big old shame what is happening to Dillian Whyte. First of all, Dillian Whyte is not the mandatory. He's never been the mandatory. Second of all, he's been the number one contender for 600 days. So what? For all the time that he was the number one contender, you had Dominic Brazil, the mandatory. Dominic Brazil was ranked higher than Dillian Whyte was. Dominic Brazil was ordered to fight Deontay Wilder. So what was the WBC supposed to do, Teddy? They were supposed to remove Dillian Whyte from the mandatory position and give it to Dillian. He's supposed to remove Dominic Brazil from the mandatory position and give it to Dillian Whyte? Why? What is the tragedy or the tragedy, whatever it is, what is the problem with that? Why would they do that, Teddy? See, that's what I'm telling you, man. Whatever hit him in the head that put that big old scar there is impeding his thought process. because there would be no reason for the WBC to do that. The WBC is coddling. If anything, they're coddling Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte was given multiple opportunities to become the mandatory. He could have fought he was ordered to fight Luis Ortiz to be the mandatory. He was given an opportunity. He was given an opportunity by Dominic Brazil. While Dominic Brazil was waiting for his shot, Dominic Brazil said he would fight him. Dillian Whyte wouldn't fight Dominic Brazil. That was the guy who was the mandatory. If he would have beat Dominic Brazil, then he would have been in a position to be able to fight him. Deontay Wilder said, if you beat Luis Ortiz, I'll fight you as a voluntary. Then we won't go into the other 3 occasions in which Dillian Whyte was given an opportunity to set himself up for a fight with Deontay Wilder. Dillian Whyte is the most coddled boxer on. Let me not be emotional, biased and emotional, and call him the most coddled boxer in all of boxing, because that's probably not true. Keith Thurman might be one up on him with the treatment that he was given by the WBA by not defending his belt in 2 years and never getting stripped. Or maybe Mikey Garcia by the WBC, who had his WBC lightweight title for 2 years and never got a shot. And only defended his belt one time against Robert Easter, and then wound up getting stripped of it because he didn't have any intention on defending it again. Or maybe it's Canelo Alvarez, probably Canelo Alvarez by the WBC. But in most of these incidences, the person that is coddling the fighter is the WBC. And let me tell you who was getting coddled here. It is Dillian Whyte. In any other organization, in an organization that was looking to screw over Dillian Whyte would have got dropped from the ratings as soon as he refused to take a mandatory fight. If Dillian Whyte orders, if a sanctioning body says, I want you to fight Tyson Fury, to fight Luis Ortiz, and when you fight Luis Ortiz, then we will name you mandatory as soon as Deontay Wilder satisfies our current mandatory, you'll be the guy. And the guy says, no, I don't want to be the second mandatory. I want you to make me the mandatory right now. I want you to cancel the Dominic Brazil fight. I want you to take I want you to take the mandatory status away from him, and I want you to give it to me. And they say, nah, but what we'll do is, we'll just let you stay there. Don't worry about it. You don't got to fight Luis Ortiz. We just leave you in the ranking and we'll work it out later. No, I want it now. I want it. Daddy Hearn say, I deserve it now. I deserve it now. Get out of here, man. That dude is coddled. So now they say, well, okay, well, look, if you win your next fight, Dillian, you didn't take the opportunity that Dominic Brazil gave you. You didn't take the opportunity that we gave with you for Luis Ortiz. Okay, you nagged and cried enough. You'll become the mandatory. We'll just say your next fight puts you in a position to be the mandatory. You okay? Okay, Dillian? And that's what they did with Oscar Rivas. But let's also look at it from this perspective. When did Deontay Wilder fight his last mandatory? When it was his last mandatory title defense? His last mandatory title defense was 2 months ago against Dominic Brazil. 2 months ago. How does Teddy Atlas confuse 600 days with 40 days, with 60 days? Right? It was May 18th, I do believe, was the date of the fight. Today is July 19th. That's 80 days. That's 2 months, 60 days. How did you miss you add an extra 0 to the end of that? You went from 60 days. Deontay Wilder has not defended his mandatory title in 60 days. Oh, what a tragedy, travesty, whatever it is. I really do need to look up that word, man. I don't know why. Just funny word. It just always confusing in my head. Anyway, it is what it is. But come on, man. Teddy Atlas, I want to know who's paying Teddy Atlas to say these things. Or I want to know who put the microchip, who installed the microchip behind that scar to make him to say ridiculous things. Teddy Atlas, before I covered boxing on a day-to-day basis, because now myself, many other people in the LDBC, we pay attention to we wake up in the morning, we read the boxing news, we do our regular jobs, work, we'll make a video here, we'll make a video there, but pretty much stay very, very up to date on what's going on in the boxing world. And ever since I started doing that about 2 years ago, like really paying detailed attention to it, the more and more that I think the less respect I have for Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas I'm glad that he's not on ESPN. Goodbye to good riddance to bad rubbish as far as I'm concerned with Teddy Atlas. And also I'm looking for what he's going to say about Sweet Pea. But look, let me know what you think in the comment section. Is Dillian Whyte, has he been taken advantage of? Or is he one of the top 10 most coddled boxers in all of the sport? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.